I pray that God will bless you in everything that you do. I pray that you will grow intellectually so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture.
Sun vibrates, earth revolves, how can I rise? If I perceive through a calcified third eye, Merkaba's looking like paper mache today, and words of wisdom from ancestors are now cliche, blowing like dust away, or metal rust away, doing wrong unto others and got enough to say. We shackled our slaves, now we wear cuffs today. Wanna make your wife a dyke, you go trust the gay. I am she, punchlines made Douglas Buster sway. Knitted times if crochet or custom made, RBG or RG, it's still MST. Getting guards off Ritalin and pills stamped with E. I go, I made. Youths chant with me on the front lines, and I got no grant with me. All diamonds are bloody, rapping blood clot dummy. Thinking that's real Imhotep playing a movie mummy. Give up a tar doll and call it an Oscar, calling me grouch when I drop the truth on ya. Use hip-hop to wake those you call young goats at risk, cause they gun-toed and inhale gun smoke. Mufti shoot, nah, get a neck thumb poke. Trying to order me on the 9 to 5 like a slave boat. Master gets nailed to walls like plaster or gyprock. Illegal tackle in battle or catch a hip block.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. That's how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
You're scared to say don't touch my ass, you b-boy cowards. Try that with me, ball in your face like 48 hours. Bloody your nose, maybe bloody your clothes. Kick Satan's ass in Eden's garden and bloody your rose. Bloody your spit, I'm just like bronchitis severe. Hex alpha omega, I'll make blood of your tears. Not on the Mike Tyson style, but I'll bloody your ears. Verbal shotgun blast you and your fam, bloody your peers. Some Pan-Africans ask why they bloody the feds. I say trail of tears is when they bloodied my fez. Without inspection, I see fiction correction. Too much diction and not enough soul reflection. Agents causing confusion from misconceptions. Distractions make lunch drops like turns missed on sessions. File for possessions, I burn up your Wessons. Smith cashing in the bonds, quick to live off pensions. Live off our tensions, I got to mention. Give Moore's European names and live off our inventions. Saying I'm black to cash in on bond investments. Saying I'm a Moor, you giving me psycho assessments.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. That's how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
Like lipo, hybrids getting under my skin. Boot stomp them like an insect, but not under Tim's. I'm into tinted windows, but not into rims. Pilgrim stole my fez and just added a brim. Stole the tassel, convince you that's a degree. Thinking you're smart with 1 out of 360. Thinking you're hot, but run for nursery and curse me. Cause I run your fried chicken and your beef jerky. Burn out your pork rinds, discharge court fines. Bondless, send a letter, make them acquiesce. Run the racket, racketeers with muskets modernized. Most lost their first and use modern eyes. Using words that makes language modified. Children's aid stealing children, make them traumatized. Homos are doing promos and advertise to the lesbian solo with gay chat lines. My space is really their space. Facebook is bait, locks and pics but bald-headed, proving you're fake. Saying they're for love, but just want to debate their unintelligence and their lack of knowledge intake.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. That's how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
That way, the North Star Stampede, Canaanland moves. Read our VP every day. Uplift the V cause we all base. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. Declare 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. No, but Drew X, do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Coffee, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stare and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the worst government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? No sense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmec features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty moths and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts.
Here we go. Raka! North Star! That way, the North Star Stampede, Canaanland moves. Read our VP every day. Uplift the V cause we all base. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. Declare 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. No, but Drew X, do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Coffee, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stare and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the worst government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? No sense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmec features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty moths and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point. Spirit messages never off. Inner realizations, encounter the higher selves. Next plane existence explains my consistence. Without a foe, you never know, so past most resistant. Divinity, my twin flame, side chick and mistress. Metaphysic, Kabbalistic, Almaroc mystic. Patriarch, papistics, make my thoughts sadistic. So indigenous, call me Americanistic. Invoking the ancestors, Saracen cryptic. Suns on rotation, flows ecliptic. Shatter all illusions, reveal the realistic. Sitting in the dark, holding the light marvelous. Recognize the artifice, skin so carbonous, hair so antenna. I feel them from Vienna, myriad of virtues, lessons in reptilian henna. Enlightenment seekers won't find it in mainstream. Focus as a laser, stay balanced like a beam. Not even a gymnast. Whenever I flip this, as above, so below. Get out when within this. Don't think I'm a slave, cause I speak in English. Drew, I'll leave the water, watch your flames get extinguished. Living in your higher, lower self is relinquished. Reputation of master teachers, call it distinguished.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law may civil of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astral plane interests, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law may civil of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astral plane interests, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling them Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VAR feminine, feminist, stomped on by elephants. Won't let go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book are maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday. One more.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
One more.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law may civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no clue I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VAR feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't let go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book are maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Want to give it a try? Want to give it a try? Not hearing you. Do you want to give it a try? You probably don't want to try with Mars. Don't try with Mars. Scientology Money Project. Update. Rizza Islam out on bail. Rizza Islam out on bail. And remember, today's the 7th. Just keep in mind today's the 7th. And Rizza Islam out on bail. And Islam bail increase 28,000 notes. And Rizza Islam paid bail. Now, isn't he disinformation dozen guy? How come they didn't just throw him under the jail like they did to Rise of the Moors? They know that they took the finance. They know that they did it. They get bail. Rise of the Moors locked up, fighting for their life. You think this is about something other than Moors? Because remember, he's Nation Islam, so he's more. He knows what's up. We know he's more. That's why he got bail. And why don't you ask him these questions?
when you see him. We ask him about vaccines. Why are you even concerned about it? Why is that even a thought in your mind? There's some people out there that's giving people vaccines. Why is that even, how is that something on your mind but your birthright isn't? You lost your mind. That's your mind. You stay lost. But we're giving you the update right now. Scientology Money Project update. Don't debate Moors. Don't go complain on our channel. Don't complain on our channel. This is not what we're saying. This is what Scientology Money Project is saying. This is what they're saying. So, when you see Rise of the Moors, nationals that are part of the Moorish militia, been locked up. Not just got locked up yesterday, been locked up. What the F has Reza Islam been doing? Going around promoting his book. Who do you think's the sellout and the sovereign citizen traitor guy? Rise of the Moors? The Moorish militia are the criminals? So you're telling me, this is your logic. Your logic is the people who years ago got caught doing Medicare fraud years ago. The people who years ago got caught, proclaimed their nationality, who they were, went to court, cussed these people out that they're corporate and all that stuff. Keep one and let one go out there and have a world tour. Writing books and all this. Getting bail. Paying his bail. Paying your bail? You're paying your bail and you're just leaving? How are you just paying your bill and leaving and Rise of the Moors is still locked up? Is this an NY thing? Because remember, the court where he went to wasn't an NY court. It was a European court, just like Rise of the Moors going to. And we know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that Reza Islam knows about Moorish science, knows about Moorish nationality, declared his Moor, because Farrakhan declared that he's a Moor, and it's only in our side that we know this, because nobody's listening to what Moors are saying, because everybody thinks Moors want to debate something as if we're debating. We're not debating. We're not arguing. We're letting you know these people know that they're Moors. And the people who been saying that they're Moors and doing classes and doing food drives and doing feed people and doing clothe people, doing help people with their court cases and all that, they're locked up. Been locked up. And then he's going to come out with a video, and this is going to be the narrative, right? This is going to be the narrative, right? This is going to be the narrative. Some commenters online have argued that Reza was arrested in retaliation for speaking out online as an NOI member and exposing corruption, conspiracies, etc. This is incorrect. Reza was arrested for contempt of court in this old Scientology-related case and served 5 days in jail for contempt. When he finished that sentence, he was held for a few more days until the money was raised for his bail. Reza's arrest and time in jail had nothing to do with his social media activities. Nevertheless, Reza is now attempting to conflate the two, which brings us to our next point. Reza Islam appears to be trying to turn his old Scientology-related criminal case into a claim that he is being persecuted for speaking out as a member of the Nation of Islam. Riza's attempt at damage control is emerging. He is trying to create and control a narrative that makes him look heroic. Riza is already put a spin on his arrest and time in jail by stating, "This is what happens even to the best of us when you're doing the best that you can. The enemy will find a way to attack or come at you, especially when you are doing good deeds to resurrect the people." Riza's story that he is being persecuted for righteousness' sake is an attempt to deflect attention away from the $3.8 million Medicare fraud perpetrated by the Scientology license AHEC. Riza should not drag the Nation of Islam into his old Scientology legal problem. Riza's arrest for contempt of court occurred due to his belligerence in asserting his sovereign citizen defense. Judge Pastor allowed Riza Islam to state his defense that he was a natural person and not the person named in the indictment. However, both Riza and his mother became very belligerent and argumentative when Judge Pastor by persisting in the line of defense, and this despite his repeated warnings for them to stop. Both were arrested for contempt. This had nothing to do with Riza's social media work. This has to do with his nationality and his birthrights, because he knows what's up. And he went in there and he stood on the square that he's a Moor, and now he's out. So if he can stand on his square and all this stuff, right? And they got them on the Medicare fraud. If it's like that, then how come Moorish militia is locked up? For not firing a shot, just holding guns. Just holding guns. No firing a shot, no pointing at anybody, nothing. $4 months in prison for that? That they really couldn't be home? Like Riza Islam was home, being able to tour the world and all that stuff and go lecture about his new book. So he can go lecture about his new book when we got him on Medicare fraud. Because the story's gonna be, oh well, he was doing that before he was Nation of Islam or whatever. Okay, all right, we're gonna go with that. So that means at one time, regardless of whatever he knows or whatever like that, he was a really dumb nigger. And it really didn't happen for him until he declared his nationality. And now he's an example of how real this is. Don't look at Rise of the Moors. Don't look at them. Their stuff is happening in a corrupt state. So don't even worry about what's going on over there. Because Allah's got that. Paperwork and Moors being at, that doesn't have that. Allah has that at this point. So look at Riza Islam, he's free right now. Paid his bail and got to leave. Why do they have Moorish militia still locked up? What's really happening here? And then, honest to the Moors who study. And then 5 ex-Nets former Long Island assistant nabbed in $3.9 million NBA healthcare scam. Then the healthcare scam, among those indicted, former Nets draft pick Terrence Williams, Antoine Wright, Chris Douglas Roberts, also identified in the indictment as AKA Supreme Bay. How come they have all of them written down with the Negro names, and this one individual, they're saying AKA Supreme Bay? You think they don't know who the Moors are? Or they don't know? And keep in mind, this happened on October 7th. When there's all this Moorish stuff happening on the 7th, you think that you really... And then today was supposed to be Rise of the Moors Day for court too. Then interestingly, it's on the 6th. And then those Moors go to court. And those Moors stand on their no, we're not dangerous stance. They took that stance that no, they're not dangerous, proved it. Like if I was on the jury, I was there. They don't sound dangerous. Like I get that they got guns and all that stuff, but they don't sound dangerous. Like they don't sound dangerous. And this is the second time they went to a dangerous thing, because they already went to one already, and then that judge was corrupt, which is why they're even having another one. And you're thinking that it's for something else. It's because when suit hit the thing, people start running for the hills. You ain't heard Moors talk in 4 months. You haven't heard Moors talk in 4 months. But Riza Islam is out on bail right now, today. Out on bail. We're using the Riza Islam because his stuff was October as well. These people are on a program when they deal with us. They're on a program. Everything has to be aligned for them. And they're lining their stuff up with absolute precision. They're not playing around lining their stuff up. Because they already know the science. They're not playing around. These people are playing around. Why is he out on bail? And Moors who didn't do anything either. Because we say Medicare fraud and all that stuff, the Medicare stuff is a fraud. You can't just knock these brothers only or these Europeans only who got caught up in some Medicare fraud, because the people who they're stealing from are stealing from people too. What do you mean? So that's a paradox. If this Moor, because we know Riza Islam's a Moor, we know that. If this Moor is out on bail, and these other Moors been locked up for months, isn't that an apparent, obvious contradiction? Isn't that obviously a glitch in the matrix? You see 10 cats back to back to back, and you don't think something's wrong? Something's going on? Nothing registered in your head to say, hold on a second, that's 10 deja vus. All it is to get you to fear your birthrights. As you fear your birthrights, they win. Because the foundation of every government's power is fear. And all they need is to get you just a little bit scared. Just a little bit. And they got you. Just because of that drop of fear, they got you. They would ride that drop of fear till the wheels fall off to get you. Because they know that's what they had to do. Which is why Drawley told these Moors, they're going to have to look death in the face. And when they saw those Moors on the highway, going the train, that's the fear of death that they had. That was their response. And still their response right now. Because of 10 Moors. Just 10 Moors. They didn't do jack. They're just going camping. Put the fear in them. But it's not no threat, so don't look at fear like, you fear a boa constrictor, but if you're 20 feet from it, I mean, you ain't worried. You don't care. Nothing's wrong with fear. It's the balance. It's the other side. Like the lower self, fear could be used. Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved. Niccolo Machiavelli, 1513. All animals experience fear. Human beings, perhaps most of all. Any animal incapable of fear would have been hard-pressed to survive regardless of its size, speed, or other attributes. Fear alerts us to dangers that threaten our well-being, and sometimes our very lives. Sensing fear, we respond by running away, by hiding, or by preparing to ward off danger. Right? If you can't flee, drop the world on them. Right? Because your first attempt is get the hell out of here. But if it's not get out of here, then the world is dropping. To disregard fear is to place ourselves in possibly mortal jeopardy. Even the man who acts heroically on the battlefield, if he is honest, admits that he is scared. To tell people not to be afraid is to give them advice that they cannot take. Our evolved psychological makeup disposes us to fear all sorts of actual and potential threats, even those that exist only in our imagination. The people who have the effrontery to rule us, who call themselves our government, understand this basic fact of human nature. They exploit it and they cultivate it, whether they compose a warfare state or a welfare state. They depend on it to secure popular submission. Compliance with official dictates, and on some occasions, affirmative cooperation with the state's enterprises and adventures. Without popular fear, no government could endure more than 24 hours. David Hume taught that all government rests on public opinion, but that opinion, I maintain, is not the bedrock of government. Public opinion itself rests on something deeper, fear. So all this negative stuff with Moors that you see in the news is to put fear in you. Because nobody really wants to deal with highwaymen and prison and all that stuff, you know, but when you're under tyranny, that's what it is. That's just what it is. And it's because of the people's ignorance and the people's negligence why things are how they are. So don't get mad, get nationalized, and get active. Because the frequency's already changed. Just the dummies who don't want to be on the frequency. They want to do their own thing. They think it's about what they think it's about. Thousands of years ago, when the first governments were fastened themselves on people, they relied primarily on warfare and conquest. As Henry Hazlitt observes, there may have been somewhere as a few 8th century philosophers dreamed a group of peaceful men who got together one evening after work and drew up a social contract to form the state. But nobody has been able to find an actual record of it. Practically all governments whose origins are historically established were the result of conquest of one tribe by another, one city by another, one people by another. Of course, there have been constitutional conventions, but they merely changed the working rules of governments already in being. Losers who were not slain in conquest itself had to endure the consequent rape and pillage, and in the longer term to acquiesce to the continuing payment of tribute to the insistent rulers, the stationary bandits, as Manker Olsen aptly calls them. Subjugated people, for good reason, feared for their lives. Offered the choice of losing their wealth or losing their lives, they tended to choose the sacrifice of their wealth. Hence arose taxation, variously rendered in goods, services, or money. Nock relies on the credits, the pioneering historical research of Ludwig Gumpelwicz and Franz Oppenheimer. Conquered people, however, naturally resent their imposed government and the taxation and other insults as it foists on them. Such resentful people easily become restive. Should a promising opportunity throw off the oppressor's dominion presents itself, they may seize it. That's what the nationality and birthrights is. The throwing off of the oppressor's dominion and having dominion over yourself and your peers, so that these people over here aren't needed. Hence why, again, fear of God in them, because, Moorish militia is Hannibal and all that stuff. They already know what's up. There's Moors on elephants and all that. There's not some guys with guns to them. their genetic memory bank has a brother in a turban going across the Alps with elephants. It ain't nothing to do with guns for them. This is why they have to do things on time. Because remember, they're off. They already have the clock off and the calendar off and everything else off. Now the people are off. Because they've adopted, even the people that's conscious, know their self and all that, they've even adopted the fear. And then the fear is not coming from some government that's anti whatever like that. It's coming from the man next to you. Talking crazy about where's people's mask and all that. Like people policing the people. And the police will go sit down and they eat donuts. You know, do anything. Yeah, if anybody has a dash cam video, just send that in because we're just checking to see, you know, what's going on with this thing going on. You know, the investigation. And all the dummies sending all their stuff. The political economy of fear. Fear, like every other productive resource, is subject to the laws of production. Thus, it cannot escape the law of diminishing marginal productivity. As successive doses of fear-mongering are added to the government's production process, the incremental public clamor for governmental protection declines. The first time the government cries wolf, the public is frightened. The second time, less so. The third time, less so. If the government plays fear card too much, it overloads the public sensibilities, and eventually people discount almost entirely the government's attempts to frighten them further. The first time the government cries wolf, China and bats flying and stuff like that. We're going to have a bat invasion over here. Nah, you're talking crazy. But I mean, oh, those videos that they showed, those bats are going nuts. The second time, less so. Oh my God, the bats are over here. Well, you know, I don't see any bats, but those videos that you're showing on the news, oh gosh, it's crazy. When I go outside, I don't see any bats flying. But I'm worried about the bats, but not really. The third time, even less. Oh my God, bats are everywhere. Please. You know what they're doing. It's a program. It's not life. It's not the new norm. What do you mean? What is that? What is that? They just made that up. That's not a real thing. What is that? If it's normal, right? If it's normal, how is it new? If it's normal. If it's normal, it means it's been going on for a little while, right? How's this normal thing new? How's it new and improved? This is how dumb they know the public is. They know the public is so dumb. Straight falling for it. and don't even know that you're falling for it. Recently, the former Homeland Security Czar, Tom Ridge, revealed that other government officials had overruled him when he wanted to refrain from raising the color-coded threat level to orange or high risk of terrorist attacks in response to highly unlikely threats. You have to use that tool of communication very sparingly, Ridge stoutly remarked. Fear is a depreciating asset. As Machiavelli observes, the temper of the multitude is fickle, and while it is easy to persuade them of a thing, it is hard to fix them in that persuasion. Unless the foretold threat eventuates, the people come to doubt its substance. The government must make up for the depreciation by investing in maintenance, modernization, and replacement of its stock of fear capital. Like, this is something that you could put on the TV right now if you have a TV. Go online, watch some news thing, and you'll see them doing this right now with the fear. Right now. You think they're doing that for kicks? It's a program so they can reach their objective goal. And if you're not using your thinking, like Joali said, think and save yourself. If I can only get you more is to think. That's all. Just thinking. Oh yeah. At every point, opportunists latch onto existing fears and strive to invent new ones to feather their own nests. Thus, public school teachers and administrators agree that the nation faces an education crisis. Police departments and temperance crusaders insist that the nation faces a drug crisis, or at times a specific drug crisis, such as an epidemic of crack cocaine use. Public health interest fosters fear of epidemics that in reality consist not of the spread of contagious pathogens, but of the lack of personal control and self-responsibility, such as the epidemic of obesity or the epidemic of juvenile homicides. By means of this tactic, a host of personal peccadillos has been medicalized and co-signed to the therapeutic state. The therapeutic state. That's what they live in now. That's what they live in now. Of what importance is one little person when the entire nation is in peril? Every war ends, but each leaves legacies that persist, sometimes permanently. All wars. One day, the war on terrorism will come to an end. All wars do. And when it does, we will find ourselves still living in fear, not of terrorism or radical Islam, but of domestic rulers that fear has left behind. Among other things, we will find that various security agencies operating in the interest of national security have leveraged their coercive power in ways that target dissenters posing no conceivable threat of terrorism. Moorish militia? Sound familiar? Oh yeah, this is Fear, the Foundation of Every Government's Power by Robert Higgs, Independent Institute. Again, among other things, we will find that various security agencies operating in the interests of national security have leveraged their coercive power in ways that target dissenters posing no conceivable threat of terrorism. Which is why we ask, why is Rizza Islam out on bail when he said that he's a Moor, but Moorish militia says that they're Moors and they don't get out on bail? Ayanga Bey got out on bail. Same charges as them. How come they're still in there? Obviously, there's no threat. These Moors even said, yeah, we'll come back to court if we have to come back to court. It's not running from anything. Like what's going on? It's security agencies operating in the interest of national security, leveraging their coercive power in ways to target Moorish militia who's posing no conceivable threat of terrorism. Not by accident, the FBI has targeted the anti-war movement in the United States for especially close scrutiny. Such targeting is scarcely a surprise, because war is, in Randolph Bourne's classic phrase, the health of the state, and the FBI is a core agency in protecting and enhancing the U.S. government's health. Over the years, the FBI has done much to promote fear among the American populace, most notoriously perhaps in its COINTELPRO operations during the 1960s, but in plenty of other ways too. Nor has it worked alone in these endeavors. From top to bottom, the government wants us afraid, needs us afraid, invests greatly in making us afraid. Conclusion. Were we ever to stop being afraid of the government itself and to cast off the phony fears it has fostered, the government would shrivel and die, and the host would disappear for the tens of millions of parasites in the United States, not to speak of the vast number of others in the rest of the world who now feed directly and indirectly off the public's wealth and energies. On that glorious day, everyone who has been living at public expense would have to get an honest job, and the rest of us, recognizing government as the false god it has always been, could set about assuaging our remaining fears in more productive and morally defensible ways. Right. So you should know by now that their game is fear. And they're fear because everything they got is crumbling. Planned Parenthood disavows her racist legacy. Margaret Sanger gets cancelled. Margaret Sanger. And if you want the fullness, just go subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Let them tell you. You want to play like you don't know.
These injustices within multiple systems, across multiple systems, are really impacting the health of Black Americans.
See how conveniently she got cut right after she said Black Americans? And the Black Americans don't realize that stop the BS, proclaim your nationality, like Riza Islam did, and get out on bail tomorrow. And stop playing the black BS, even though you might say it out your mouth. You say black out your mouth, you better have a nationality like Riza Islam. It seems like that's the only way you can say black and, be able to get away with everything, while Moors who did nothing have to be in prison for months when they did nothing. But Riza Islam could get bail. And he's a disinformation dozen. He's an anti-vaxxer guy. How come they didn't keep him and throw away the key? Since he's anti-vaxxer, disinformation dozen, and we gotta watch out for them and all that stuff, and have them the reason why everybody else is getting fact-checked out here for telling the truth. You don't realize that it's an op. All these people are operatives working for the other side. Like, working for the other side. Oh yeah. And then don't tell me anything about Drew Ali and all that stuff. And Drew Ali did something when you're not even talking about the nuns raping girls with crucifixes. And you're not mentioning nothing and none of that in any of your lives. You'll never bring them up in your lives. We're going to talk crazy about Noble Drew Ali. Your brother. Like a good sellout nigger. And you're not even mentioning the nuns raping girls? Are you bringing up Noble Drew Ali? All you Noble Drew Ali traitors and more haters? That's what they're about. But they're not going to talk about this, though. They're not going to bring this up. They're going to bring up Noble Drew Ali, who plagiarized the Aquarian Gospel. Noble Drew Ali is not a real prophet. Marcus Garvey didn't like Noble Drew Ali. Oh, he was a peddler. Videos upon videos about that. How come they not talk about these nuns? They're not going to talk about the nuns? Oh, really? You're not going to talk about the nuns? Oh, okay. All right. You should know who the sellout is. You should know who the sellout is. When they start telling you that they got badges and all this. Know that they're playing games. Because there ain't no unity. You one guy with a badge doesn't mean anything. So now what they're going to be doing? Selling badges? So then they're going to have all these clowns out here with badges talking crazy? This is what the people wanted. And they're badging up now. Honest to D Rose for repping. Honest to D Rose for repping. Just move that fast. Right, they're real happy. They're real happy with their Mark Fez, aren't they? They're real happy with their Mark Fez. Oh yeah, and people talking crazy. People talking crazy. Clifton Harrison. What are you doing, Clifton Harrison? What is this? Because I can't see this being anybody else. Why would somebody have this on their stuff if it's not you? So watch out for these people. Study your Prophet Noble Drew Ali and what he brought. And trust me, he told you think. And everybody told you think. Even Tesla told you think. Are you crying about gas right now? Don't cry. Should have listened to Tesla. You wouldn't be in problems right now. You're going to play Negro black colored games. So get down with the program. Alright, play your games. Everybody's going to suffer because they are. And they already don't like you. He dreamed of free electricity for all. Tesla's long-held dream was to create a source of inexhaustible, clean energy that was free for everyone. He strongly opposed centralized coal-firing power stations that spewed carbon dioxide into the air that humans breathed. He believed that the earth had fluid electrical charges running beneath its surface that, when interrupted by a series of electrical discharges at repeated set intervals, would generate a limitless power supply by generating immense low-frequency electrical waves. One of Tesla's most extraordinary experiments was to transit electrical power over long distances without wires or cables, a feat that has baffled scientists ever since. His grand vision was to free humankind from the burdens of extracting, pumping, transporting, and burning fossil fuels, which he viewed as sinful waste. Tesla was eventually undone by what he called ignorant, unimaginative people consumed by self-interest. Ignorant, unimaginative people consumed by self-interest, right? An unimaginable individual would create something like this for Moors? An unimaginable individual is who would create something like this for Moors. An ignorant and consumed by self-interest individual would make something like this for Moors. Remember, we're talking Tesla right now. Just keep in mind, we're talking Tesla. Today's fossil fuel industry. Tesla was eventually undone by what he called ignorant, unimaginative people consumed by self-interest. Powerful men that sought to protect the immensely profitable, low-tech industries they had spent a lifetime building. Today's fossil fuel industry, a legacy of the past, has fought just as hard in recent decades to protect the same interests. Luddites and laggards afraid of losing their companies to the wind and the sun. Wind and the sun, nature. No one was afraid, just confused at the idiocy. They laughed at this man. Now look at him. Look at him now. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Just want to give you that little update. Study, study, study. It's essential. That's all you got right now, because it's pretty much over. Right? This is the zombie apocalypse. The zombie apocalypse is here. Right? Don't let a bunch of them vaxxers jump on you. You're done for. Don't let them jump on you. Be careful. Honors to all the Moors. Honors to all the mothers. Honors to all the mothers worldwide. And supreme honors to the Prophet, Noble Ali, the mastermind. He brought us everything it takes to save a nation and told us, take it and save ourselves. And honors to all you Moors who are saving yourself with what the Prophet brought you. Islam to all the Moors worldwide.
I pray that God will bless you in everything that you do. I pray that you will grow intellectually so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture.